What is something you changed your stance on after learning more about it? That case where McDonald's had to pay a bunch of money to a woman who spilled hot coffee on herself. Bad posture. Social media. I worked for an agency selling social media services to clients and I had to learn about it. The more I learned, the less I wanted to work with social media. It's a cesspool of lies, fraud and illegal activities. Roundabouts. Based on all the complaints, I assumed they were confusing and unnecessary. When my city put in a bunch, I realized that I no longer had to wait 3 minutes at all of the punishment lights. Love roundabouts now. Of course that didn't stop the older population of the city from trying to have them removed. One guy even ran for city council on the platform that he would immediately put the stop lights back in. Change is hard, I guess. I didn't think orthopedic shoes were for me, but I stand corrected. Disc golf. All the guys I grew up with that played were huge douchebags. Years later a neighbor dragged me out on a nice day and I've been playing ever since. 10+ years. Helium balloons. Helium is a finite resource of immense scientific value and we use it for party decorations. Getting therapy. My upbringing is within an Asian household, so when it comes to dealing with emotions, we tend to shove that into jar and move on. I used to think that receiving therapy is for the mentally ill, weak, etc. I don't have problems, therefore I don't need therapy. But after recent events in 2021 with certain people I tried therapy and after a few sessions it just revealed some baggage I wasn't even aware of. Honestly, I wish I started earlier when I was in my 20s. I would be more emotionally prepared, and would probably have had healthier relationships with women if I had dealt with the trauma growing up and from my first relationship that devastated me. Not sure I can think of anything I didn't change my stance on after learning about it. Blood is thicker than water. Nah mate, family members that disrespect you and bring you down can go FK themselves. I regard my friends as family. Algebra. It's like a cool puzzle that makes you feel smart. GMOs, and I encourage anyone who opposes them to look into them yourself. They're better for the environment and they feed more people. Nuclear energy. I always thought it was a super pollutant and very dangerous, but it's currently the cleanest viable option if only we could agree on where to store waste. Edit. 1. Spelling mistake. 2. With viable option I meant we currently have the infrastructure to scale up the production of electricity. 3. I didn't mean we don't have a way to store it because most countries do. It's we can't find and legislate a route from the NPP to the storage because of communities don't want a truck with nuclear waste passing in their village. Being sober, took a 8-ish-year landslide to one of the darkest places I've been in my life, and not once in those 8 years you could have talked me into putting down the bottle of whiskey that was glued to my hand. Been sober coming up on 5 years now and I couldn't think of being anything other than sober. I won't sit here and say it's not easy, it is honestly one of the hardest things I have to deal with on a consistent basis. But the rewards are priceless. My ex-wife. Cults. I wanna start one now. Empathy for the choices people make when they are not able to fully control themselves, i.e. addiction, mental health crisis, episodes. Having personal experience on both the receiving and giving ends really deepened my empathy and understanding that allows me to have a more nuanced and individualized approach to these kinds of things now. Climate change. Looking at the evidence, it's clearly a hoax. Just kidding, I was a firm denier until I had to do an assignment proving or disproving it in high school. Realized I couldn't find any decent source to back up my claim. Basically changed my mind on the spot. Assisted suicide. I was against it, but after seeing my uncle suffer with extreme rheumatoid arthritis for a few years before eventually dying from it, I'm all for it now. If we put down our pets when they're suffering, why can't we do the same to our humans with their written consent? College education. I always thought it would benefit everyone to get one. These days, the benefits don't always outweigh the debts, and many people in trades make very good money.